Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your 2019 Fastlane preview and predictions. We've got a 9-match card. Obviously, 2 of those will be on the pre-show, leaving us with a 7-match main show card. And I just when I was looking over this card to type it out in the description, I was just kind of like, man, this card's kind of low-key stacked a little bit. I'm kind of surprised at how good it looks on paper. John, I'm curious how you feel about it, my dude.
Brother, I'm actually surprisingly really looking forward to this show. There are a few matches that obviously stand out. With any anticipation, there's always going to be a hierarchy of hype, if you will. But right now, just to give a numeric value to it, as you know I like to do, I'm sitting at a solid 8 out of 10 for anticipation for this show. I think it's going to be a really fun time.
How do we always do that? How do we always do it where you say, if I was to assign a number value and then a number in my head, and then you say a number that's anywhere between 1 and 0.5 points above my number that I had in my head?
So you're like at a 7 out of 10 right now? Or more?
I was at a 7.5 in this case. But like it's just crazy that we're so consistently in lockstep, but I'm consistently like a little tiny bit below you in height.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's totally cool because I get why you'd be a bit lower, man, because even with it looking so freaking legit on paper, let's just remember that what it is, though, it is a filler pay-per-view, a bridging pay-per-view between Chamber and Mania. Like, this is just something where you can kind of stop, orient yourself, and in the next few weeks, it's Mania, 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 and that's all anybody should be thinking about. Well, that and TakeOver New York, obviously. But this is really like the final, like, okay, once we're done this, business really picks up. But even so, given that Fastlane has traditionally been that kind of pay-per-view, I'm actually surprised how fun this card looks for the most part. I do have my grievances, but we'll get to those as we unpack these matches. But on the whole, again, I am looking forward to this. So if there's any other preliminary remarks you want to make, I'm ready to dive into this at any time.
Yeah, I don't have any other preliminary remarks, and I do agree with you that there are some things that are worth grieving about on this, and especially really just stuff that they're building towards Mania. But as of right now, let's just get into this. The first 2 matches are going to be our kickoff matches. First one that we have listed in the description right now is New Day, represented by Woods and Big E, versus Nakamura and Rusev. Now, John, I saw you had a Twitter rant about this, so I'm going to let you kind of handle this one.
Yeah, brother, I'm going to try and keep it succinct. This match just makes no sense to me. I mean, first of all, I kind of feel bad for Xavier Woods because he found out about this match on Twitter. So, like, that just shows you where he stands in the company. And the New Day, I like that they're a part of storylines, but I like that they were a part of the main event storyline. And I was kind of hoping Big E and Xavier would pivot off of that and get in the tag title storyline. Now I'm worried that might be going to the Hardys. That's a separate issue, though, that we may cover at a separate time.
Well, but at the same time, though, wouldn't it make more sense then if this was Nakamura and Rusev versus the Hardys?
And that's what I was getting ready to say. Not only giving those considerations aside, but even looking at last Tuesday, dude, the go-home show, New Day were in India doing promotional stuff for the WWE. And Rusev and Nakamura, they attacked Aleister Black and Ricochet, and the Hardys made the save. So even just looking at that snapshot, it makes so much more sense for the Hardys to be facing Nakamura and Rusev. This is a quintessential pre-show match because this was right the fuck out of nowhere. I mean, compared to the other pre-show match, which I've got my own separate rant about, this just makes no sense to me. That aside, though, again, I wanted to keep it succinct. I'm going with New Day for the win here. I mean, it really is like about them right now. I think they are more of a priority on the road to Mania, even if Kofi's the biggest priority right now. I'm giving Big E and Xavier the easy win here. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm pretty much along the same lines, and I would have given the win to the Hardys if they would have been in this match too. So really, babyfaces win. It's also like a pre-show LOL babyfaces win kind of thing as well.
Absolutely, man. All right, next matchup.
Yeah, I just realized we don't have a cruiserweight title match on this entire show.
Yeah, well, I guess because they're doing the big tournament, so the next big cruiserweight matchup is going to be at Mania, or at least the Mania kickoff.
I wonder if they're doing the big tournament and skipping this show as a really like, cashing in their chips, trying to hope to get onto the main card.
Right.
That'd be wonderful. God, Buddy Murphy versus pretty much anybody on the main card of WrestleMania would be wonderful. Holy shit.
And yeah, our next kickoff match, we got Rey Mysterio versus Andrade.
Yes, we do.
Shouldn't be a pre-show match, but okay. I'm just going to be honest. I'm hoping that this is like a double count-out finish or something. Like, I hope we don't get a definitive finish in this match because it's pre-show, and then you give these guys a main WrestleMania match. In fact, I've been saying I think these guys should be the opener for WrestleMania 35. I think they should be the opener. You should give them 20 minutes, and they could have probably one of the best WrestleMania openers, my opinion, since WrestleMania 21, Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, which was an insane opener in its own right. I think these guys could really set the arena on fire. Because it's what, MetLife Stadium, I want to say?
Yeah, I believe it is, yeah.
They will set MetLife Stadium ablaze. They will fucking kill it, but you can't have a finish here. So I'm actually going to go with it. I'm going to say this is going to be a double count out. They're going to do some insane outside shit, and it's going to be like a kamikaze thing where like Ray does something to take himself out and neither person recovers, or maybe Andrade does it. And then you get the double count out, and then you settle it once and for all. Big Mania matchup. Maybe you even have Ray's mask versus Andrade something or whatever on the line. I don't know. I don't know if you'd even want to put a stip to this, but either way, they should get a Big Mania match. It should be the opener. If you want to do WrestleMania right, you trust these two guys with that responsibility. So I'm going the double count out route. What about you?
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting. I was just looking at their singles history. They've only had 3 matches. Ray won the first one, Andrade won the second one, and then the third one was 2 out of 3 falls, but it ended in a no contest.
Exactly.
So this is effectively a rubber match for them. So even though like there hasn't really been that much build to this match at this time right now, I understand why you said that this shouldn't be on the kickoff, because it's like the rubber match to their program because of the fact that the 2 out of 3 falls went to a no contest.
Exactly.
So I get that. Yeah. And I kind of agree with you now, knowing that. I do kind of hope that we get kind of a fuck finish where we don't have a definitive winner and we can continue to kind of stretch this out. And I do hope that these guys either end up doing what's been reported and teaming up, which again, I know that they haven't even teased at that yet, but you know, WWE has thrown together more ridiculous things in less time. So I wouldn't be surprised if they threw together Andrade and Ray as a tag team going into Mania. And maybe we even get like a crazy triple ladder match where it's them, the Hardys, and the Usos. That would be fucking incredible.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes.
So yeah, that like, I'm going to agree with you. And I think this is the first time that we've ever agreed on a non-finish.
Yeah, that is so rare. I can't believe I put that out and you actually were digging it. So I hope it happens now. Yeah. We'll see.
All right, so that's the kickoff. Let's get to the main card. And as far as the main card goes, you guys might be a little confused by the order that we're covering this in, but I want to emphasize we cover these matches by our perceived level of importance of these matches. And as of right now, we have got 5 championship matches and a match with WrestleMania implications. And then there's just this match that's like, yeah, Roman's back, and this is his first big match back, but also it doesn't matter who wins because there's no stipulation. There are no stakes. It's just a match. We've got the Shield versus the team of Baron Corbin, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. And really, how can you possibly have Roman lose in his first match back?
So let me just ask you, with you saying that with the confidence that you said it, I'm guessing you're not indulging like any of the speculation by some fans that Dean Ambrose is going to turn on the Shield in this match and setting up a Roman Dean program for Mania? Because Roman does need something to do.
Would I enjoy a Roman Dean program set up for WrestleMania? You're damn right I would. But do I expect them to do that? No, I don't. I expect this to go over smoothly. I expect Roman to pin Baron Corbin.
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to agree with you tentatively, but I'd feel more comfortable agreeing with you if I just got this out of my system. Dean probably should turn on Roman here. And not even because like Roman did anything wrong, like anything like that. It's just the about face of Dean Ambrose to get the Shield back together. It all happened in one fucking night. Like it just, I know Ronda isn't doing any favors right now, calling out the nature of the business and everything. And we're already aware of it. Like we do this fucking shit for a living, talking about what they're doing. But like, it really comes off as disingenuous to me, and it really takes me out of it. Like, it wasn't earned. Like, I think about DX's first
I think the reason that disingenuousness isn't moving me off of believing that the Shield is going to stand together and win is because what about the WWE is genuine?
That is true. That is a fair point. Again, that's why I'm saying I am agreeing with you, but I honestly don't even see Dean turning on the Shield to be that out of left field, given just how like everywhere he's been with his booking, and given that just like they reconciled so quickly. I mean,
it's kind of like that one night when Randy Orton opened the show telling every member of the Authority like off and like telling him that he was going to attack them, and they were all just like, really? And then he was like, I'm just kidding, and then he ended up doing it anyway.
I mean, that would have at least been more entertaining than how they did it to me. But
no, but I mean, like the idea that like it's like he clearly was a heel, and now all of a sudden, in like this one random thrown together night, he's a good guy again, and the Shield's back together. Well, that's a red herring. They're not actually going to stay together. Dean's character hasn't actually shifted, but on the other hand, if you think about it, Dean's character has been changing for a little while now. Like I've even been saying for the last like month-ish, ever since like Dean started doing like the weird shit with EC3, that he's been starting to feel more like a face. And then they had that random segment like a week or two ago where Seth asked him if he was an absolute madman or if he was absolutely insane or whatever, and he just kind of stared and he was like, yeah. Like Dean has felt more like a babyface to me for the last like month or so. And I'm under the impression that they were doing that and they were kind of teasing that as a way to kind of soften the crowd up on him so that when he did rejoin the Shield, it didn't feel super jarring.
That's a fair point. I almost wonder, too, as a counterpoint, if we can have our cake and eat it, too, here. Because I almost wonder if they'll do what they did with Dean's first turn and have the Shield win the match.
Yeah, but then he turns after, anyway. Yeah.
I'm almost even wondering, like, I'm already envisioning a scenario where Shield wins, but then the heels, they try a post-match attack to regain some heat, and then Dean maybe kind of, thwarts him away with a steel chair, but then turns around and, like, hits them both in the gut, Seth and Roman, with a steel chair, and then he really zones in on Roman.
So, like, almost recreating Seth's turn there.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, you know what? I think that's the prediction I'm going to go with. I'm going to agree with you that Shield wins, but I'm going to tack on the qualification that I expect Dean to turn in the post-match, because you don't want Roman to lose in his first match back beating cancer, because, they're riding that to the fucking moon. So he's going to win. But I think also to keep Roman's momentum hot, you got to dissipate the question mark of what's next to me as quickly as possible. Like, you've got to keep fans hooked on him. Yep. So he wins, Dean turns in the post-match, and the only reason I'm confident in that is that's exactly what they did the first time Dean turned, and you know how WWE loves reusing templates. So that's what I'm going
with. Dude, I mean, if you think about it, not only did they do that the first time Dean turned, they did that the first time the Shield broke up. Seth's turn came following a big victory over Evolution.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I think they're going to win.
I mean, granted, that was the night after, and we might get Dean's turn a night after, too. We never know, but...
That's true.
The day, it was immediately following a big win at a pay-per-view. So, yeah, dude, I think you're definitely onto something there.
Yeah, I am going to agree with you about the Shield tournament, but I'm also going to agree with the fans that I've seen, like, kind of theorizing, Roman needs something to do for Mania, and him being just thrust in the main event would be way too fucking jarring. And based on his promo this last Monday, like, his character doesn't even want that spot. Like, he wants Seth to face Lesnar one-on-one. So, and honestly, and again, I have to put the qualifier, I hate that it took fucking cancer to do this. I actually really like that booking of Roman, of him being like in a higher profile Mania match that isn't the fucking main event or a world title matchup.
Yep.
Like, this could honestly be one of Roman's best Mania.
Yeah, like, this is going to be a WrestleMania where the Roman Reigns match, the main event, and the WWE or world title match, universal title match, are actually three different things and not all one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm really glad we like hashed this out, because now I feel a lot better. I think, again, they can get Roman his win, they could get the sweet moment, and either immediately after, if you wanted that immediate heat, or like you said, to your point, the night after on Raw, when we're really in the road to WrestleMania now, you have maybe the Shield kind of talking about their win and what's next, and then maybe Dean plunders the knife. But yeah, I think this babyface turn is very short term. And yeah, we're going to get Dean Roman at Mania. I hope we do anyway.
See, and the real ironic thing there is I don't even know if I buy in fully that the face turn is short turn, because I wouldn't even really be surprised if they were challenging for the Raw tag titles at WrestleMania, Dean and Roman.
Oh, see, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because I think with Roman fresh off beating leukemia, they'll want to keep his workload a little bit light for the first couple of months.
Yeah, and tag teams are perfect for that. That's actually a great point. I also wonder, too, like, how all of our conjecture, like, what Dean's contract situation is, because, I mean, I was hearing for the longest time, like, oh, he's leaving. Now I'm hearing that they might have come to a deal with him, so I don't know what the hell.
I heard, like, within the last week or two that he's probably going to be sticking around and that they came to terms.
And you gotta wonder, like, I wonder if Reigns or like any of that, like, oh, what if we gave you a program with Roman, whether as a tag team or like as opponents, and Dean maybe even wanted both. Maybe the tag team angle would lead down the road. But yeah, I think all of this conjecture, it begins with the Shield winning, and then we just kind of see what happens there. So I'm actually going to agree with you. I was really tentative for it, but yeah, I think we've kind of reached a place where Shield winning not only makes sense, but it doesn't seem to compromise anything else in the future that WWE might want to do. So,
all right. So now we get to the title matches because we're saving the match with WrestleMania implications for last. And the first and obviously least important, as proven by the lack of TV time, championship match that we are going to talk about here is the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Asuka defending against Mandy fucking Rose.
You know what? I'm actually going to criticize something about this match that isn't the most immediate criticisms we've seen like circulating. Because I'm not criticizing this match like in and of itself, but if you figure like a lot of these matches in some way or another are supposed to feed into Mania, whether it's like giving somebody momentum or somebody's opponent or whatever, I honestly, and I'm not even kidding about this, because we already know WWE's treating Asuka like a joke. So let's not act like it's not happening, right? So if Asuka was meant to lose at a Mania and she wasn't really meant to be the Asuka that we all loved in NXT or that people loved in Japan when she was Kana, why not put Sonya Deville over? Like, why not make this a whole thing where Mandy Rose couldn't get the job done, and then we pivot to Sonya Deville? Because I readily buy the rumors it's going to be Lacey fucking Evans. And that makes no sense to me that you go from one program, and that's all done and that's all settled with, unless they're going to be a part of the women's tag title match at Mania, which you don't fucking know. I mean, maybe. But then you go and you do this whole separate thing with Lacey, which how many weeks of buildup is that going to have, Ashton? Like, what, 2 weeks? Maybe 3 weeks?
4.
Like, it's 4 weeks. Okay, well, that's not too bad. But then again, we've had total episodes of SmackDown where like she's not on the show, or that it's social media buildup or some shit. So we can't even like say that she's going to appear all 4 weeks. If she does, great. But
no,
like,
I mean, realistically, of the 4 weeks between Fastlane and WrestleMania, we'll probably see Asuka like twice.
Right. And so, you know, I'm not even going to be like, oh, Asuka should be, you know, better than this. It should be more of a threat. I mean, she absolutely should be. This should be a fucking squash match. But like, this is what it is. I've accepted it. But even in accepting it, it's like you're still not even getting all the mileage you can out of this Asuka and this booking of her. Because I don't understand how you can just go through one opponent that's green as goose shit but has the aesthetic that Vince loves. And rather than going to her partner who's actually showing more promise, and while I still think it would be a bit rushed, at least logically it would make more sense, you're going to pivot to somebody that all she's done is like pretty much treat the ramp like a fucking runway for the past few weeks. I just really, it makes no sense to me. That said, I've already had my criticisms about this match. I know you have too. Mandy Rose again, green as goose shit. Asuka is a legitimate competitor. I feel so bad for her. I feel like she could have been a real ace in the hole for any women's division she was a part of. And I honestly feel like she's fucking third tier. Like, honestly, there are days I can't tell the difference between like her credibility as the champion and somebody's credibility, like say a Naomi with how she's booked sometimes. That's fucking sad because I'm a big fan of both, but they've just got done so dirty. All that being said, I do see Asuka retaining. It's really bad when these are the people she's working with, especially after she had such a great match with Becky at Rumble. Like, that's the biggest tragedy here is we know she can put on clinics when she's worked with good people. What are we really expecting here? So Asuka to retain, hopefully, but I'm not getting my hopes up that she's going to retain at WrestleMania. I could see her losing it to Lacey Evans and my heart. So what about you? What are your thoughts on this?
So I actually didn't realize I would, but I actually have a lot to say about this. So first of all, I'm not really entirely sure why you're so confused about this. Like, haven't there been reports about how Vince is like obsessed with making Mandy Rose the next big?
Well, no, let me just stop you right there. Okay, no, I'm not going to have you start off on that. Confused is a horrible word to use. I'm not confused about this at all. I understand it completely. I just vehemently reject it. Like, right. No, let's just make perfect sense of that now because
I'm not, the reason I said confused is because you kept saying you don't get it. You don't get it.
Well, no, I don't get it in the sense of like I'm exasperated and like it's just so frustrating. Like when you see what Asuka could have been, like it's sometimes like mind-boggling that we're here. But no, I get it because it's a fucking old fuck with a heart on for these fucking people. And again, I even said because she has the aesthetic that Vince loves. So and no, it makes all the sense in the world to me. I just don't get like how you can look at somebody like in that metaphorical sense. That's so talented as she is, and this is where she ends up. It's just it's ridiculous to me. It's an insult. It's insulting. But no, please continue. I just wanted to correct that.
No, I'm glad you corrected me, because I was a little like, what's going on here? Why does he keep saying he doesn't get it? Like, so I'm glad that you kind of extrapolated there and explained what you really meant by that. Okay. So that being said, here's like, I hate that I'm even doing this, but here's just think about, when was the last time somebody started getting big wins on television shows that they probably shouldn't have, that we were blown away, like how the fuck did they win that match? Last time that happened that I can think about, last 2 times really, were B Team and Jinder Mahal, right?
Yeah.
And they both won their titles.
Oh God, are you going with this where I think you're going with this?
I'm picking Mandy Rose to win here.
Oh Jesus.
Again, like, I don't want to, obviously.
No, I know you don't.
Yeah, like everyone that knows me even a little, anyone that's ever heard me talk about Mandy Rose knows that I think she got called up too early. I don't think she's good at anything. She's not a good talker. She's not a good wrestler. She throws a decent knee, but that's about the extent of her positives. And like, the only reason that she did get called up, well, I guess there are 2 big reasons. First of all, was because they needed a third girl for Absolution. But then the second one is because of her look, because Vince just fucking loves that look. You can look at any woman that kind of fits that mold in the last like 3 years or so gets called up before they should. Charlotte fits that mold in my opinion, and she got called up too early. Carmella and Bliss were both big surprises when they got called up. Dana Brooke got called up way too early. And now we're on fucking Mandy Rose. And I think some people might have argued that Liv Morgan got called up too early as well. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that or not, because I was kind of like, it kind of felt like she was at a point in NXT where she didn't really have any room to move up. So maybe the main roster would have made sense at that point. But, and even then, like, a part of the trope is big fake tits, and Liv doesn't have that. So, you know, if you just look at the women that check all those boxes, blonde, white, big fake tits, and then like an optional 4th box of nepotism, which, you know, Charlotte fits, obviously. They get called up early because it's Vince, and he just loves that aesthetic, like you said. And so, yeah, that's, and again, like whenever we see someone picking up all these random big wins on TV, that's like, why did they pin that person? They just killed their credibility. And then it's like, oh, because they were actually winning the title like a week or 2 later. And we're all disappointed. And it'll be like another one of those situations like with fucking Alexa Bliss, where it'll be like, oh, she just hit a DDT. Well, that's going to be an easy kick out. And then it's a 3 count.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the only thing that really scares me the more you're talking is I just think about how she squashed Naomi on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like, granted, there was a distraction.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is I think that might be the overarching story that they want to do at WrestleMania is Mandy versus Naomi.
And see, that leaves me conflicted because I genuinely like Naomi. You know that. But, like,
yeah,
how many times are you going to do Asuka dirty, man? Like, god damn.
Yeah, like Mandy's win over Asuka was fluky, but I don't know how fluky you can call her win over Naomi. Like, you even said it was a squash.
Yeah, I mean, again, Sonya provided a distraction, but that match had to be like.
And so nothing is going to stop Sonya from providing distractions. And Asuka, we have seen, she is prone to distractions. How many times did she lose to Carmella because of Ellsworth?
Yeah, main roster Asuka does not deal with distractions well at all. Like, it's her kryptonite. Oh god, dude. I'm gonna stick to my guns of Asuka retaining only because I know.
I'm glad you are, and I hope you're right. But just kind of making the observations that I've thought about, I can't force myself to make the pick that I want to happen. I just go with the pick where it's like those mental Olympics where if I'm right and Mandy wins, I'll be the least miserable one in the room because I called it. But then if Asuka wins, I still won't be angry because then Mandy loses and goes to the back of the line, hopefully. And we don't
dude, you know what though? Like, because no, every time you do this, like, or where your rhetoric is just like so persuasive, it just makes me go down a rabbit hole. And like, by WWE logic, that Mania match, Mandy Rose and Naomi, makes perfect fucking sense because who won the first ever women's battle royal at WrestleMania a year ago?
Naomi.
So then they can say, oh yeah, winning the Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal can change your career. Naomi's fighting for the title tonight at WrestleMania.
Yeah, 2018, Naomi wins Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. 2019, Naomi challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
And we say it like that, right? But is that not WWE logic cut and paste?
I totally, that's exactly yes.
No, oh my God, dude, that's horrifying. The only palate cleanser would be if Naomi fucking wins. And even then, because I'm not trying to diss Naomi, but like, Asuka, and this is purely the fan. This is not based on any logic or anything. She killed it at Rumble with Becky. And I'm like, yeah, Asuka's fucking awesome. Yeah, I dug it, man. It was fucking great. And she gets left out in the cold again. Hell, for all we know, Asuka will win the Women's Battle Royal this year.
Yep.
Like, seriously. And
then they'll find a way to hammer fist her into challenging for the SmackDown or the Raw Women's Championship next year.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep that lineage alive, brother.
Jesus Christ. I hate that you know WWE as well as you do, and I hate on other occasions I know WWE as well as I do. It makes my skin crawl. But you're saying, Mandy, and you've made a very persuasive argument that caused Mark Schoeneman to say that he will literally throw something if that happens. And I am tentatively holding on to my hope that Asuka retains, and yet in the grand scheme of things, as I stare into the void, I wonder if each option really matters at the end of the day. So that's where we're at. Let's talk about a match that's slightly less depressing, please. Is there a
is it really less depressing though? Because like Boss and Hug Connection are the champions, and we like the champions, but we like Asuka too. And who's challenging? Samoan Slaughterhouse. So is it really less depressing, John?
Oh no, I hate everything.
I really hope we get a multi-team gauntlet tag match for the women's tag titles at Mania with a team from each brand at least.
Oh, yes, please.
And speaking of Mark, that's a Mark idea. Mark came up with that in the Discord, and I love that idea.
Yeah, something. Because, like,
Boston Hug versus Riot Squad versus Iconics versus Sky Pirates, please.
Yes. Bayley and Sasha have been amazing ambassadors for the championships already, you know, going down to NXT and all that stuff. They cannot fucking lose it here to Samoan Slaughterhouse. In fact, you know what? No. I'm not even going to give in to my anxiety of, like, going down that fucking rabbit hole. No. They're fucking retaining the titles. Fucking Tamina's probably going to eat the Need a Hug double team. And then Naya's probably going to eliminate Asuka from the Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania, because I was even thinking about saying that Asuka wins at Mania, and yeah, that's a fucking joke.
Yeah, because Naya is the women's Andre the Giant.
Exactly. I mean, God knows with commentary they'd be like, oh, well, you know, Andre, he looked up to Nia Jax, and he's probably would just be so proud looking down on her right now.
He used to watch Nia Jax matches when he was a kid, and he would tell them, I want to be just like her.
So, yeah, Boston Hug to win, because we need to free Nia up to win the Women's Battle Royal.
Oh, God. What's really funny, too, dude, is that I was tempted. I was like, you know, Sasha and Bayley kind of got that initial new champion press tour done. You know, they did their rounds. They went to all the brands and said we might defend them here. How WWE-like would it be to back out of that a month later?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Put the titles on Samoan Slaughterhouse and have them be like, no, we're not going to defend the titles in NXT. We're above NXT. And SmackDown, if you want us to defend the titles against you, you got to come to our turf.
And Nia pretty much said the exact same thing verbatim in a recent interview. And like, if they pulled the trigger and gave them the belts, oh God. See, because here's the thing. Even detaching my distaste, mainly for Nia, Tamina just kind of exists. Like, and even just looking at it from a gateway perspective, like, what do you even do with that at that point? Do you just have Boston Hug get a return match and that's it? Like, as much as I don't necessarily like it in one way because we know how good Sasha and Bayley are. No,
see, that's where the Trish and Lita match comes into play because they need a good heel team to bounce off of.
Right. No, Boston Hug's retaining. No,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna pick Boston Hug for this one. I'm on that. Yeah, it's just funny though, like just thinking about WWE doing WWE things.
I mean, that's That's horrifying. All right.
All right. Now we get to the fun stuff. The last 4 matches, or at least 3 of the last 4 matches, because seriously, fuck everything about the Raw Women's Championship picture right now. But 3 of the last 4 matches are fun and exciting, and coincidentally, 2 of them are SmackDown. So, the Usos versus The Miz and Shane McMahon. Can I just say, before we make any predictions, the Usos have been my favorite promo on the main roster recently.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, can I just say about this whole feud that this whole thing, this whole overarching storyline with Miz and Shane, with now like Usos getting sucked into it, it's been so much better than it had any right to be. Like,
Yeah, it really
I have enjoyed this so much. I mean, and I could say mainly because of the Miz, and like, yeah, he's like 80% of it, but Shane has honestly carried his 20%. Like him just trying to get down with the Usos on the mic and like be that competitor. It's just every image you've ever had of like an upper crust white person trying to be street or something like that, or trying to go hard, and it's hilarious. And yeah, like
did you notice that Shane even started having like almost like a little bit of an accent on some of his promos now?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh god, Shane, dial it the fuck
Shane
back.
out here trying to be gangster.
Yeah, right. So no, I've thoroughly enjoyed this story, and you guys already know what I would like to see happen with Usos retaining and Shane turning on the Miz, because the Miz is the one putting a lot of pressure on himself. Like, I'm going to make you proud, I'm going to make my father proud, and then for Shane to turn around and just berate Miz and be like, you're a disgrace, you're a disappointment, no wonder you're not your father's favorite wrestler, and then beat him up. And then if his father tried getting involved, like some people even said Shane should beat up Miz's dad, which I would find fucking hilarious with the way Shane throws right hands. But here's what I actually see happening. So you guys know what I want to happen, Shane being the one to turn heel. I could see Uso still retaining, but then Miz kind of having his own warped epiphany where it's like, wait a minute, I've been spending so much time trying to make you proud. You should have been making me proud because I've been the one carrying this team all along. He beats the crap out of Shane. Miz's father doesn't get it. Miz kind of severs the bond with his father, kayfabe-wise. Maybe they even, because WWE loves those tears, maybe they even get like a single tear rolling down Miz's father's cheek, and we get Miz as the heel versus Shane as Mania. I think Miz is a babyface, especially when I think we need more top babyfaces, is the way to go.
And especially like the actual likable ones, and Miz is made so much more likable by Miz and Mrs., which is going to be coming up soon.
Exactly. I completely agree with Ashton here, guys. I think Miz is likable. I mean, hell, the KO experiment, which I cannot wait to talk about the WWE Championship match, but I think that's been successful. I was talking to Ashton the other night that like Fandango is going to be returning soon. I would love if he would go on the blue brand. They'd revamp his singles career. They try and make a top babyface out of him. I know, like, you can never have enough heels. You know, I always enjoy Ashton's like heel face formula. But I think we've got enough of them right now that like 1 or 2 extra top baby faces would be a good way to go on the blue brand. And yeah, I think Miz being the competitor that's going to show up the next day and compete the next day, like he should be that baby face. So I'm hoping they go with the Shane turn. I think it would be unique territory, especially because Shane has been babyface in all of his WrestleMania matches. And this would put a unique spin on this WrestleMania match as well. I'm just scared that they're going to go the already treaded ground, the already familiar ground of a heel Miz. So either way, though, in either scenario, Usos do retain, and that's what I'm sticking with. What about you, Ashton? Beyond just the immediate prediction, do you have any conjecture about post-match or Mania plans?
Well, I do, as far as the prediction goes, just to get that out of the way, I do have the Usos retaining, and I also believe that they will be facing most likely the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm hoping it gets a ladder stipulation. If it doesn't, it won't be as exciting. I won't be as hyped for it, but there are worse matches that you could have represent the SmackDown Tag Division at WrestleMania than the Usos versus the Hardy Boys, you know, especially like the new Hardy Boys with Matt Hardy being in like the best shape that he's been in the last like 15 years. He looks incredible.
Yeah.
So that said, though, I am really hoping Shane is the one that turns. I'm with you. Like, I know that was kind of like my idea in the first place, but I really like, I always want to be right, but I really super duper hope I'm right about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And even then, I can't even say I always want to be right because I really super duper hope I'm wrong about Mandy winning.
Oh, God, yes, please, yes.
So, just in case you guys don't believe that I don't always want to be right, that's a perfect example of me not wanting to be right. I don't want to be right when I predict something's going to happen that I don't want to happen, or vice versa.
Absolutely no. I'm right there with you, man. This shit. God damn it. So
all right.
yeah.
So yeah, that was really, I didn't think we would talk too long about that. I'm just hoping for another fun match like what we got at Elimination Chamber, because that was like, was it a great match? No, but was it fun and entertaining? Hell yes. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I hope we get another fun one like that. All right, now we get to the other side, and it's now all of a sudden the Raw tag division is actually interesting because Aleister Black and Ricochet have kind of become mainstays in the Raw tag division, even though they're still competing on SmackDown. They haven't had any matches against the, in the SmackDown tag title picture. So they beat the Revival on an episode of Raw and then got an opportunity to challenge them for the titles, but Roode and Gable showed up and beat them down, which subtly, and really no one's really talking about this, I think might have been a heel turn for Roode and Gable.
Yeah. God, no, you know what? I feel like you probably have more you want to say, so please keep going, because I feel like I've been like talking a lot to open these matches, so keep going about what you feel about this tag title match.
Again, I feel like Black and Ricochet have kind of become steadfast Raw guys, even though they have been competing on SmackDown. They feel more a part of the Raw roster, and because of that, believe it or not, I'm predicting they're going to win the tag titles here.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think Black and Ricochet are going to win the tag titles here, and we might even get just a straight up tag match, them versus the Revival at WrestleMania, and they tear the fucking house down.
Ooh. You know what? I could see that match happening, Ricochet and Black versus the Revival, but I am going to go with the Revival still being the champions going into
That's
that
fair.
match.
That's perfectly fair. Yeah.
I could see Roode eating the pin. Just a quick aside though, now that I am
I mean,
here.
let's not get it twisted. Like, we would prefer Roode to eat the pin, but I wouldn't put it past WWE at all to have Gable eat the pin.
Oh no, of course not, because God forbid I'm happy.
That's I mean, that might as well be the WWE's fucking motto at this point.
But as a quick aside, like, it really is kind of a tragedy what a revolving door Gable's career has been, because it's like he does singles for a little bit, then he gets put in a tag team. He starts out as a face in that tag team, and then that tag team inevitably like turns heel. The only difference with this is he never did win the tag titles with Shelton Benjamin on SmackDown, and he at least did get that run with Roode on Raw. But it's like, my God, they see Chad Gable as nothing but a tag team guy, and he's already had, like, to me, quite a few face and heel turns. Like, there's been no, long-term consistency with him, which is a shame, because I think if you gave him that consistency, he could really start building up a following and hence more star power. But that's just an aside I want to say, because I fucking love Chad Gable, and I feel like they're kind of doing him dirty a little bit. But this should be a fun tag match, and I absolutely love your vision. If you're going to keep Black and Ricochet in this tag team thing, which, hey, maybe that's not the worst thing. I mean, I know that these guys are both phenomenal singles guys. Like, we know that with them on NXT. For the uninitiated, maybe a tag team is a good way to start. And then you break them off and they set the world ablaze. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Revival retaining. And then I will stick with you, though, that they'll face Aleister and Ricochet at Mania. You're going with Aleister and Ricochet winning. So they'll be walking into Mania as the champions, but they'll be defending against the former champions, the Revival. So, all right.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's interesting, though, that I wasn't sure who I would be picking until I got to it. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I mean, the Revival are great, and we know that, but it just seems like the WWE doesn't really see them as anything special, whereas they're really like going out of their way to make Black and Ricochet seem special. So at the end of the day, I think Black and Ricochet have like a sense of immunity in this match. Like, the only thing that we can know for sure is that neither one of those guys is eating the pin. Like, if anyone in this is eating the pin, it's going to be someone from one of the other two teams, because like if the Revival win, they're going to pin Roode or Gable. And then really, if Black and Ricochet win, they could pin any of the other four guys, and I wouldn't be surprised. So really, like, that's why I'm picking Black and Ricochet, because just based on the odds and knowing that those are the least likely guys to lose, I know that the way that like triple threat matches work, like it's pretty likely that Roode and Gable were only put into this match to eat the pin, so that Black and Ricochet wouldn't have to, so that the Revival could keep the titles without having to make Black and Ricochet lose. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they just change things up before Mania, because it's fucking WWE, and who gives a shit about long-term anything?
Yeah. I mean, that's so viscerally true.
Well, speaking of visceral, let's talk about the new Daniel Bryan defending his new hemp-based WWE Championship against Kevin Owens, the newly returned everyman, Kevin Owens.
Dude, I love how much I'm loving the new Kevin Owens. Can I just say to start, like, I can't believe this is the match I'm most looking forward to at Fastlane. Like, I really, because, you know, I even said, you and I would talk about it, and I would talk about it on Twitter. I knew Kevin Owens is coming back. I'm still wondering where the fuck Bray Wyatt is. Sami Zayn's going to be returning eventually. And I said, you know, they got to be careful with how they handle these guys, because I want all three of them to be main eventers, and I want all three of them to be big guys. And when they had Kevin Owens return, taking Kofi's spot, I'm like, oh, dear God, no. Because I'm worried he's going to be dead on arrival already, because Kofi Mania is legit, and it's fiery. I mean, hell, even this past Tuesday, Kofi chants were loud several times in that arena. Like, it's a thing. And I'm so happy, though, that the crowd does seem to be supporting Kevin Owens, because he got that promo on Bryan. Crowd seemed into him when he stunned Bryan. It wasn't like the biggest pop, but definitely a segment of the crowd was like, Owens kind of thing. I'm curious the kind of reception he'll get at Fastlane, but I am loving babyface KO. I love that he's using the stunner that genuinely looks great. And to your point, that's a big reason why, is because Bryan's so fucking good at what he does, and he sells it amazingly. So I'll give credit where it's due. Absolutely. But I gotta be honest, dude, I can't believe I'm saying this about Kevin fucking Owens. The guy that spawned a catchphrase, the guy that, if I'm honest, probably birthed Johnny Scumbag, if you think about it. Because the shit he did in NXT, like, I glomped onto that so hard. And, like, I just loved, like, everything after that from any heel. But, like, he was the quintessential heel for me. Like, he was such a piece of shit. I really hope that this babyface turn isn't short term. I hope it's not like a kind of a Randy Orton thing when he turned in 04, where they do it for a few months, then decide it's kind of a flop, and then revert him back to heel. Like, I hope that this catches on, and he really is exactly what you said. Like, he's almost like a modern day Dusty Rhodes in a way, where he's that everyman babyface. I would fucking love that. Oh my God, the implications that has.
I think the big difference, though, there is that Owens doesn't really talk about his past, because the whole thing with Dusty is that he came from very poor, basically living on the streets, and made something of himself. With Owens, though, it's more like he is relatable to the average audience member, but also like, holy shit at his talent.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I look at this dude, and my only concern, and I do have concern because I think this is going to be a really fun match, and I hope they give it time, and I'm going to be cheering for it. Like, I'm going to be doing what live reactions is meant to do. I'm going to let the fan out and be like, yeah, hit him with that stunner, yeah! Even though Bryan's fucking great, which is a testament to how amazing he is as a heel. But I think this is going to be overbooked to shit towards the end. I could see Rowan getting involved. I could see Mustafa getting involved. New Day did say they were going to be at Fastlane. I could see Kofi making his presence felt. I am slowly okay, here are the two things that I see it coming down to. Either one, WWE really does not give a fuck, and we get a fatal four-way at WrestleMania: KO, Kofi, Mustafa, Bryan. What I would like them to do, but this does kind of leave the question of what you do with the losers. I would like them to do a triple threat on SmackDown: Kofi, Owens, Mustafa. Winner faces Bryan at Mania. Kofi wins that match. Now, I don't know how they're going to handle this. Those are just my two theories on the table. I would prefer, in all honesty, Kofi, Bryan, one-on-one. I like my Mania World title matches to be one-on-one. The same way you kind of like your big takeover matches. I know you've said that in the past. I'm the same way with Mania. I think when it's the world title, it's two of the best people, you know, the champion and the top contender, you know, whatever. And Kofi winning, that just makes it all the more surreal because it was just him and nobody else and all that shit. I really fear the WWE is going to fuck that up, though, and we're going to get a multi-man match for the WWE title, which in itself won't be bad. But for the bigger story that so many people are invested in, which is Kofi finally getting his big moment, finally winning the big strap after doing literally everything else, I think it kind of cheapens it a little bit. So I'm going to call for a non-finish here. I'm going to say that Kevin Owens wins by disqualification. And then that's going to lead to a clusterfuck of a multi-man match at Mania. I am very curious, though, if you agree with me on everything, or if you think I'm just being ridiculous and you're just like, no, you're wrong.
No, dude. Well, here's the thing. I'm trying to decide whether Owens wins by DQ or countout, or if he just straight up wins the title. Because really, I wouldn't be surprised either way. I think the easiest way for me to put it is just Owens wins, but whether that means he wins because he wins in a way that gets in the title or not, I don't know. Because I genuinely believe that you're right, that the main event, like the WWE Championship match at Mania, is going to be a multi-man match. And it's going to be Bryan and it's going to be Owens, and it's going to be Kofi, and we might get Ali in there somewhere, and maybe Styles and Orton also. We'll see. And like, because of that, I really don't have as much of an investment on who goes into WrestleMania as WWE champion, whether it's Bryan or Owens, because I think they're both going to be in it regardless, you know?
Right.
So, like, it really doesn't matter if Bryan goes in with the title or if Owens goes in with the title. It's going to be a multi-man match, so there's not going to be, like, a true champion's advantage anyway. So who cares who goes into the match as champion? What really matters is who walks out as champion, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I can't really say, like, oh, Owens is winning the title or, oh, Bryan's retaining or whatever, because, frankly, I don't think it's going to matter in the long run. And I think WWE probably feels that way, too. So they might be like, oh, here, Kevin, here's your Grand Slam status by giving him the WWE title.
Right.
You know, because he is the WWE title away from Grand Slam, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. And
he's held the IC title. He's held the US title. He was Universal Champion like a year or two ago. So, yeah, if he wins the WWE title, that's boom, Grand Slam. And even if he only holds it for a month, you can never take away that Grand Slam status from him. And then they can shake him up to Raw after Mania if they want to. I don't know.
Yeah. And personally, can I just say, too, as far as babyface Kevin Owens goes, I am personally rooting for a babyface Kevin Owens, like, heel Sami Zayn feud this summer. Because you know they're going to want to put those two together. I'm just thinking WWE logic. I would really like Zayn to be the heel this time around. But focusing on him in the WWE title, my only contention with that, like, I get everything you're saying, that because it's a multi-man match, no champion's advantage, like, it doesn't matter who walks in. It's really imperative, like, who walks out. I still feel like Bryan's been so hot as a heel, though, that you're going to want to see that catharsis of a title change at the biggest possible stage. I don't know if WWE would want to blow their load early, though it would not surprise me given the company we're dealing with. I don't know. So, again, I'm going with the finish that's pretty much a non-finish. Owens winning via DQ because just everything breaks down. Maybe he even hits a stunner on Bryan, and Rowan just, like, I don't know, assaults the referee or something, or breaks up the pin or whatever, and then it just breaks down into calamity. But, yeah, I'm going to go KO winning, but in a way that doesn't make him win the title, and then he'll have a claim to Mania. And by the way,
I did want to explain a Grand Slam, it doesn't have specific championships that it requires. It's literally just 4 major titles. And, you know, there used to be a time when you needed to win a tag team championship in order to count towards a Grand Slam, because there weren't more than, there weren't 4 singles titles that counted towards it. Like the European title, I don't think counted towards it. And I know the hardcore title didn't. So, like, there weren't enough titles for people to win to have 4 without tag team gold. But now that there are so many damn titles, winning the IC, US, WWE, and Universal titles would count as a Grand Slam.
Right. So,
like I said, my pick, my official pick is Kevin Owens, but I'm not going to specify how. I just think he's going to win. Just that's it.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Now we have 1 match left. Yeah, you got that right, because I don't think people are going to like it.
Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to go first because I have stuff to say about this, and I know you do too, but I'm worse about remembering what I want to say.
Hey, brother, no, that's fine. Take it, man.
So this is one of those weird programs where we were all looking forward to it, and now I feel like everyone's going to look worse after this program ends than they looked going into it, which is really, really tragic, because this should have been the program that turned Becky Lynch into a household name, should have been the program that made Becky Lynch the top star in WWE, regardless of gender. But as of right now, everybody in this match, in this feud, looks awful. Becky is a good mic worker and a great wrestler, but they're giving her absolute shit tier writing and promo material, and the way that they are portraying her character makes her look like such a whiny loser. And then Charlotte is getting the best material out of the bunch, but she can't talk for shit. And Ronda is just getting bad material and she can't talk. So, like, all 3 of these women are either being given bad material and trying to do what they can with it, being given great material, but are just fumbling it all over the place because they're not good at what they do, or both. They're being given bad material and they're not doing anything to help it. And I think because of that, I genuinely do think that all three of these women will have cooled off and will look worse after WrestleMania than they looked before the Royal Rumble. How sad is that?
It's fucking tragic, dude. Jesus Christ.
And obviously Becky's winning here. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And frankly, even if she would manage to lose here, WWE would still just make this match stipulation irrelevant by finding a way to jam her back into the match anyway. Like fucking Shane's lockbox. Like, oh, you have to beat The Undertaker. And then he didn't, and he still did the thing. So, it really, like, it's gotten to the point that I really do hate everything about this feud. And I do mean everything, because as great as Becky is in general at just like doing what's the most with what's given to her and trying to make the best out of a bad situation, there's only so much you can work with when the character that you're being given to portray is just coming off as poorly as hers is. Because like right now, to me, the Becky Lynch character is coming off as easily manipulated and not very smart and a little wimpy, kinda, because she's still nursing this fucking knee injury that we all know is a kayfabe thing. And it, like, I love Rebecca Quinn, since fucking Ronda's breaking kayfabe, we might as well as a performer, but I just think that I genuinely do wish she had a little more Stone Cold in her, because Stone Cold wouldn't have stood for this shit. Steve Austin would have been backstage saying, no, that doesn't fit my character. That's bullshit. I'm not doing that. And Rebecca is out here like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll do whatever it takes, because she's a company girl. And she doesn't want to ruin the push that she's getting. And like, I don't blame her for that, but I just wish that she was a little bit more stubborn about her character's integrity, because it's been degraded pretty significantly over the last 2 months at this point. And that's about all I've got to say. Is I'm just really disappointed in this entire feud. It had so much potential to be a genuine star-making thing, but Roman's back now, so they don't give a shit about that anymore. So yeah, it's just really, really ridiculous that the WWE is so averse to creating a new star that I don't know if it's intentional or not, but they have definitely fumbled the ball on what could have been their first ever female face of the company in Becky Lynch. She is, obviously, I won't say that she's, damaged beyond repair at this point, but they've made her feel like just another person again. Like she's just another one of the girls. And yeah, she's a main eventer, but fucking Ruby's been a main eventer at one point, and I love her again, but they don't give her any real credibility either. So and the whole Ronda breaking kayfabe garbage is just the dumbest thing. It feels like 2000 WCW level Russo shit to me. And I'm ready for this to be over. I'm ready. Like this, let this main event WrestleMania, rip the Band-Aid off. Let us be able to say that the women main evented WrestleMania finally, and hopefully they get it right or closer to right when they try it again next year, maybe even with a singles match between Becky and Ronda.
Oh boy. Okay. I agree with everything you said. I'm not even going to try and add on to it, because I think you articulated it perfectly, and I'm one of the belief that you don't mess with the masterpiece. That said, God, please don't hate me. I think Charlotte's winning this, because here's the thing. Everything you said is right on point. I think this storyline, and I guess I am going to lie and add on to this, I think this storyline is one of the most overproduced, convoluted, confusing things I've ever fucking seen. So here's my logic. When you're already in the midst of that chaos and you think you're making art, why stop? Because I feel like in their minds, everything they're doing with Becky makes her look like the ultimate underdog in this fucking thing. So how do we add fuel to that fire? Charlotte fucking cheating to win and taking Becky's entry out of the matchup, which should have already been guaranteed to be hers because she won the fucking Rumble. I could just remind that to everybody, because I wouldn't blame anybody if they fucking forgot with this bullshit. I'm sorry, guys. I hope nobody hates me or nobody thinks I'm stupid. There is part of me that I cannot shake that Charlotte is going to fucking win this match. And I'll even go one step further, because the natural question would be, well, John, how's she going to get into the Mania match? I guarantee you, with how convoluted this shit has been, just see if you can see my vision here. I could see Becky Like they're hyping up on Raw. Becky's gonna talk about Fastlane and how she lost. What's next for Becky Lynch? I could see her fucking calling out Vince, because Vince started all this shit with replacing her and adding Charlotte, putting fucking Vince in a disarmor until he agrees to put her in the match, thus making Fastlane worthless and everything else worthless, because that's what this storyline has done. It's made every preceding thing utterly worthless. So my logic is, what could they do at Fastlane, which isn't even going to matter because they're going to invalidate it anyway? Charlotte wins. And Becky was really confident of it. Like, every time we're in the ring together, I get the upper hand. And, you know, it's true. But she's also injured. So in WWE's mind, it's like, oh, well, of course Charlotte could beat Becky if Becky's not at 100%, because that's just a heel thing. If you're facing a face that's not at 100%, you're able to get the win. And I already said she's going to cheat on top of that. I'm telling you guys, I think this storyline is so fucking convoluted and so stupid and so out of left field. Becky is going to lose this thing, but then she's going to have a confrontation with Vince that's going to make her call out Vince and, like, you know, get him by some means to put her back in the fucking match. So I'm going to be that guy, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I think I'm fucking stupid. But this is what the storyline has done to me. I'm going to say Charlotte wins because this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. So how do you up the stupidity? How do you up the entropy? You just narrow Becky's path even further. I'm going to say Charlotte
because
wins.
Unpredictability is more important than things making sense or being good.
Exactly. And if people think like, oh, John, that's stupid. Look, I agree with you. All right. I don't want to be right about this.
Yeah, no, dude, that's the thing. Like, I'm not even arguing with you here because I could 100% see them doing it because, like, they've done everything else. They've done everything else to make it seem like Becky's not going to be in the match and then completely backtrack. Like, Becky Lynch, you're suspended for 60 days. That takes us to a little past WrestleMania, which means we need a new partner or a new opponent for Ronda. And then, like, literally a week later, oh, by the way, Becky's been reinstated and she gets an opportunity to be back in the match that she earned in the first place at Fastlane.
Yeah. Like
every turn has had something dumber replacing the dumb thing from the last turn.
And Chris Venegas even said, like, Becky will recreate Occupy Raw. Like, if she loses at Fastlane, they have got 4 weeks. She would find a fucking means, even if they would do a shot-by-shot remake of the Daniel Bryan story where Becky competed twice at Mania.
Except, I gotta tell you, at this point, I don't know if Becky would be able to fill a ring because she is not nearly as over right now as Bryan was in his prime during the whole Occupy Raw.
And God knows we can give Raw or just WWE booking in general a heavy hand in that. I have never, like, again, you said everything perfectly, so I apologize to everybody because it's pretty much going to be a rehash. But, like, again, I have to express, this could have been so good. Becky is so good at what she does. I even had a Twitter rant that said the only reason I still want this to be the main event is because of Becky. She has worked so hard. And as somebody that knows what it's like to, like, work hard at something and either have somebody ruin it or just not even see that hard work bear the fruit that you wanted it to, like, my heart is so with Becky right now, guys, you don't even know. Like, I'm not even trying to hate when I say all this stuff because I see how hard she's working. Ashton sees how hard she's working. Everybody sees how hard she's working. But the system is not working with her. It's like, for people that want to jerk themselves off about, oh, we have our women do everything, you certainly don't work for it, do you? Like, it is so fucking bad and so fucking noxious. And yeah, Charlotte and Becky, it'll be an okay match. It might even be a good match. But I swear to God, guys, if Charlotte wins, I'm going to remember everything I said here. And then my next thought's going to be, I wonder how Becky's going to occupy Raw tomorrow, to Chris Venegas' point. Or I wonder if she really is going to put Vince in a disarmor because they invalidate fucking everything. They invalidated her Rumble win. They invalidated her suspension, to Ashton's point. Nothing.
Well, dude, I don't think I've said this out loud on a commentary yet, that I actually told you this during a game of Rocket League.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble at this point has become a glorified means to get somebody to move brands.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least the women's Royal Rumble, because, like, last year, you know, it was Nakamura was on SmackDown and he stayed on SmackDown, and this year Seth's on Raw and staying on Raw. So they clearly put more thought into the men's, actually making them like a viable number one contender. But with the women's, like last year, Asuka used the Royal Rumble as an opportunity to switch brands. She took her first loss at WrestleMania and then just stayed on SmackDown, even though she was technically supposed to be a part of Raw, and I don't think she ever got, like, officially drafted or shaken up to SmackDown. She just kind of stayed on SmackDown after WrestleMania. And now this year, Becky, who is supposed to technically be a SmackDown superstar, has just kind of used the Royal Rumble to put Becky and Charlotte both on Raw because they were the biggest stars, the biggest women's stars outside of Ronda, and they wanted their biggest women's stars to be on their what they perceived to be the A show. So they just had Becky win the Royal Rumble and like, oh yeah, that'll be a way to put her on Raw. But what about Charlotte? Oh, just have Vince do it.
Yeah. God damn it. Oh my God.
So if whoever wins the Royal, we need to think about this next year when we're coming up with our predicted winner of the Women's Royal Rumble. It's got to be somebody who probably won't actually win any championships, but needs to switch brands in order to have a compelling championship feud.
Right. Yeah, I guess we will do that when the time comes. But yeah, just to lock in my prediction, I'm actually gonna go with Charlotte fucking Flair winning this match.
Yep. And that's really not surprising even because like the whole thing too is they've built up that it's Becky's leg that's injured and what does Charlotte's figure 8 attack?
Exactly. Yeah. And Becky being so confident about their history, like, oh, I've beaten you every time we're in the ring together kind of thing. It just, I don't know, man. I got a bad feeling. And it just, what's even worse isn't even necessarily the fact that Charlotte wins, although believe me, that doesn't exactly put a smile on my face. It's just, how hard is WWE going to like jump through hoops and what kind of gymnastics are they going to do to retcon the shit like 24 hours later? Yep. It is so fucking cringe, dude. And the women deserve better than that. Women's wrestling fans that have been like loving Becky or loving Charlotte or whatever, like they still seem hype, but like they deserve better than this. Becky deserves better than this. And really just wrestling fans in general that have been rooting for women to do more in the business deserve better than this. It's stupid. It's the whole thing stupid. So that's everything I've got to say about Fastlane. I'd say that my hype is still sitting at an 8 out of 10, despite, some of the rants here and there. I think this is going to be a really fun show. I can't wait for live reactions and interacting with the chat. You have any closing remarks, Ashton?
God, I wish I didn't care as much as I do about women's wrestling. Like sometimes I wish I was just one of those assholes that's like, oh, women, piss break. And I just didn't care because then I wouldn't get so fucking pissed when the WWE made boneheaded decisions like Mandy Rose challenging for a title and potentially winning one. So
yeah,
I'm down to a 7 flat.
All right. Well, at least it wasn't too steep of a drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys.
Because like at the end of the day, we still get Rey versus Andrade, and we still get Usos and Shane and Miz, and we still get that amazing Raw Triple Threat tag match, and we still get Bryan Owens. Like those are the matches that I'm here for.
Yes. So I want to thank everybody that came out to join us. We did agree, Ashton, you and I, right? I want to know if you're still down of live reacting to the Rey Andrade pre-show matchup.
Yeah, we'll live react to that match and only that match. We're not going to worry about reacting to the New Day versus Nakamura and Rusev match because really everything that WWE has done with Nakamura and Rusev in recent months has been like toxic to the touch and I'm not interested in it.
I completely agree with you. So, guys, we will be live reacting to that pre-show matchup. So, you know how usually we do. We put out an alert. We're going live with that. And then we just kind of go offline until the pay-per-view. So, with that in mind, we will see you for that. But then, for like the whole show, we go live with that at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. So, we hope to see you there. I think live reactions will be a lot of fun. Again, I want to thank everybody that came out for this. Your predictions and your contributions to our discussions were greatly appreciated. I love reading your guys' thoughts. And yeah, I hope to do the same thing again on Sunday. So until then, I'm going to hand it over to Ashton and take us home.
Yep, absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will we'll be live reacting to that the first match, the kickoff show match when that happens. And then, of course, we will be going live at 7 for live reactions to the entire show, Fastlane. We will also then be live reacting to SmackDown and NXT this coming week. And that's all that we've got planned for the next few days. We don't have any requests up until the 19th, which is a good, solid week and a half away from now. So that being said, we hope that you guys look forward to that. We hope that you enjoyed this preview prediction. We would appreciate it if you would like the video. If you did, show us that love. And of course, please let us know once this video gets in processing, fill us in and post your predictions for what you think is going to happen on this show. We've got the matches listed in the description, so you can even use that as sort of like a blueprint to be able to predict what you think is going to happen, who you think is going to win. Let us know in the comment section down below once this video is done processing. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click the bell icon to get notified. Follow us both on Twitter and like our Facebook page. And of course, you can also support us by buying our merch on Teespring, donating to the Patreon, and or sharing this video with all and this channel with all your wrestling fan friends and letting them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube wrestling community. We are TWitWoW, and we are the workhorses of the YWC, and we will be seeing you guys Sunday. But of course, in order for that to happen, you're going to have to remember to stay tuned.